Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX. My name is Devika Chopra. In a heart-wrenching story from Dehradun, a group of 6 friends were killed in a deadly collision with a container truck at the ONGC Chowk. The victims were between the ages of 19 and 24 and have been identified as Guneet Singh, Kamakshi Singhal, Navya Goyal, Rishabh Jain, Atul Aggarwal and Kunal Kukreja. The sole survivor of the crash is a 25-year-old man named Siddhesh Aggarwal. Siddhesh is currently hospitalized with a severe head injury and is unable to speak. Horrific visuals of the crash have gone viral on social media late Thursday night, showing an absolutely mangled car, as you can see on your screens, with dismembered bodies of the victims, their heads and limbs cut off in some cases. The initial probe has blamed overspeeding as the cause of the collision at around 1:30 a.m. These friends were all out for a drive late into the night after a house party. Some of the CCTV footage shows that their car was speeding at over 100 kilometers an hour and attempted to overtake a luxury car before misjudging the distance and slamming into a truck. The impact was so harsh that the roof of the car was torn off and 6 people were killed on the spot. However, the precise details of the accident are unknown due to non-functional CCTV cameras at the ONGC Chowk. There's no surprise here that some CCTV was not working. Officials, in fact, have confirmed that out of the 536 CCTV cameras in the city, 134 remain non-operational, including one which was really crucial to this particular case. But this case is complicated. Authorities have found no fault with the truck driver. The car's owner, who was driving at the time of the accident, has lost his life. Meanwhile, parents of the victims have lodged no complaints. But keeping the legality and legal aspects aside, what do we as a society really need to learn? I'm going to try to take that conversation forward. I have with me Dr. Harsh Shetty, who's a senior psychiatrist. We have Rajni Gandhi, founder and secretary of TRAX. We have with us Mr. Ravi Prakash Arora, former IAS officer, with us on the broadcast. Let me begin this conversation with Mr. Ravi Prakash Arora. Mr. Arora, I want to understand from your perspective, the cops are finding it difficult right now to understand what really is to be done in this case, because as I've explained, the person who was driving the car is no more and the parents have not really come out to lodge any sort of complaint. How do the cops really then go about in this matter?
For having me on the show. My viewpoint is that it is both essential that how these lives could have been saved. I'm now less interested in the investigation, which you are saying the cops are having problem in investigation because a crucial CCTV camera is inoperational. In spite of the smart city, there are 136 cameras are inoperational out of 560. That is true. But the problem is that how these accidents can be stopped. That these accidents can be stopped only when there is a proper value system in the family. Why this racing? Why this racing with BMW? Why this over speeding? Why this after the party going out at 1:10 a.m.? If a child see in his car that his father is driving or racing the car, and he himself is enjoying, he's not telling his children when they are small that racing is a very bad thing. The the car should be driven in following the proper traffic rules. Whether his father stops at red light, he doesn't jump the red light. He obeys all the traffic rules. Then the child value system will be created in the family that we have to abide by the rules. Why this least respect for the rules in the night? And second thing, why so late in night going out for drive and This is something ridiculous. And that too, he must have been drunk. I tell you, even if there's no report there or no police confirmation says this, but they must have been drunk. These things are now quite common in the country, and such accidents are having at a great pace throughout the country in all these states. Recently also in my relations, we lost four kids in Jalandhar. They lost their lives. They were coming out of the law college, and they lost their lives in the same fashion. In the same fashion, they were racing with a car and they collided with a tree, and all of them died all of a sudden. So the value system in the family has to be made strong. They have been told, unless we make this, nothing will stop these accidents to happen. It appears the driver of the truck doesn't appear to be, I don't think he appears he's responsible for that. And initial investigation also speaks about that only. Then giving a new car to the children in the family, this is something, and it's okay. But why are you going out like this? And then the party,
Yes.
they come back at 10, 11 o'clock and then don't roast it. Unless you make all this value system strong in the family, nothing will stop. And second thing is that policing also has to answer few questions. There's no police in the area. There's nothing to check speeding cars in the night. Nobody is there to find. All these things should happen 24 hours. As a taxpayer, we pay money to the government for all these things. That the government also has to take the responsibility
Yes,
for
but
all
Mr.
these
Ravi Prakash Arora,
check-ins.
what can the cops also do? Because today, if a cop even tries to stop you, then it's just a matter of, and I'm not saying that this is for all the cops, but let's be real right now. If the cops do stop you, how much does it really cost to get out of that situation and then go back to doing what you were doing?
Yes, in the night there was no policing in the area. The car was speeding with 100 kilometer speed, and in that area the speed is not more than 40 kilometer per hour. That area I know personally know that area. So why they were speeding 100 kilometers and nobody is there to check them? This is also quite interesting. The crops, what are they doing? We pay taxes to the government and we pay salaries of all these police employees, police constables, police officers. They also have to answer all these questions. They just, of course, they have to investigate. It is all right, but they also have
Yes.
to answer all these questions.
Okay. I want to bring in Rajni Gandhi into the conversation as well. Rajni Gandhi, through your work with the TRAX, what is it over the years that you found? Because I'm sure that there have been several such cases. What really is the pattern that has been found as far as such drinking and driving cases are concerned, and what is it that we must take away as a society? Because like I said, legality kept aside, the kids have died. So, I don't want to get into the cops or, the driver was what can one do now at this situation? You can't really tell the parents, listen, you didn't teach your kids anything. That's not the right way to go about this. But what is the pattern that emerges from such cases? Why is it that more and more people feel the need to do these sort of activities?
Yeah, with having more than 17 years experience in road safety, we have been advocating different issues and especially working for the youngsters because we know they are at the age where they are getting influenced by many factors. But I would like to draw your attention because that's true, we cannot tell anything to their parents in that condition, but I hope many parents are listening today and the best takeaway from every talks on road safety is that how much we are serious about road safety. As a parent, as a citizen, what is our responsibility? On one hand, we say we do not have good roads, so we fight for that there are potholes. But on second way, if there is an expressway or highways, then there is a fatality also. It means there is a lack of the culture, the road safety culture, the atmosphere which is required for road safety so that everybody, every road users feel that they are out on the road with a responsibility, and driving is not just a fun game. But unfortunately, through different sort of medias, like we have seen many social media influencers, I'm sorry, I will not take the names, but I've seen many videos of them that they are driving, they are listening, they are singing song, they are driving, and they are making the video, and we have millions of youngsters who are following them. We can see on TV screen that there is no hero I have seen, or actors or actresses I have seen, that in a movie or something they are specially influencing that you have to wear a helmet or seat belt, but it is going in a different way, that violating a traffic rule has become a heroism thing. And the most important thing when we talk about road user behavior, it comes out from three different factors. You can create a road user's behavior when you have safer roads, you have the infrastructure in line, or you have proper enforcement on road. Mr.
But
Ravi has mentioned
Rajni
that
Gandhi, is there a
there was
possibility?
enforcement at that time.
Rajni
Why
Gandhi, is there, I want to
enforcement?
understand,
Yeah.
Rajni Gandhi, I want to understand from you, because since you've been working in road safety for a long time, have there been any recommendations then that have been made to perhaps governments and other administrations on certain um, technological tools that can now be put in place, wherein if some CCTV cameras or some speeding cameras pick up a speeding car, what really then becomes the chain of events thereafter? The camera is just there to help guide the investigation, but that can't be the be all and end all कि camera में आ गया तो कल आपको चालान आ जाएगा. That's not the way forward, right? There has to be some methodology that has to be put in place. Technology has to be used to our advantage as a society. It's not, we can't expect that cops will be standing all night every day at various locations. Why are we unable to use technology to our advantage, that the moment the camera picks up a speeding car, some sort of an SOS message is sent to a local thana nearby, and suddenly you can have cops deputed to go check out that area?
Frankly speaking, active and passive enforcement, both are important. Technological based also, as well as on the ground. You have to make the mindset of people. So it is required. If you will just saying that cameras are only for the penalty point of view, then we are not using the cameras in that way. Because if people have that worry sense that somebody is looking at us and they are following us, then those cameras are very helpful. And apart from that, at ground, but unfortunately, can we see more police on roads beyond the metropolitans? Do we have traffic police that much? If we do not have, so are we upgrading ourselves for the technology perspective as well? So these two things will go together, from everyone, whosoever in the policy makers or at the family level, parents of the nation and parents at home. They all have to consider and take it on a priority thing, that giving a car to a citizen or to a family person, as a policy maker, as a leader, or as a parent to my children, that is my responsibility. Are they eligible drivers whom we are giving it? Are they so much responsible? That criteria is required, which is a strong licensing system, as well as through your channel I would like to advocate for the new policy which is required, that is the offender training system, because we don't know which type of road users we have right now on roads, because we have earlier type of licensing system, today is a different type of system. So where we are strict about it, why we cannot take that type of culture from European or American countries where getting a license is so much hard, and that is the primary step, that you are providing road users to a road. So that is the first step. Which type of road users are coming on road? Are they actually
ultimately
healthy drivers?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, so I want to bring in Dr. Shetty into the conversation. Dr. Shetty, ultimately whether someone has a license or doesn't have a license becomes only a conversation after a brutal accident or a fatal crash takes place, because at the end of the day, to say that it is simply the parents' fault, How true is that? Because in most cases, do parents really even have any control over what their children are doing? You know, as far as the Pune Porsche case was concerned, yes, absolutely, it was a 17-year-old kid who was driving a Porsche and he ended up killing two people on a bike. So yes, parents could be held accountable and liable there, but here you're talking about all kids who are above the driving age, which is 18 in India. They were all together in a car. How much can really the parents be held accountable, and why do we as a society, and I've seen this on roads and I've always said it, that when you're traveling on Indian roads, you somewhere, Dr. Shetty, really in a way realize that everyone is out there only looking after themselves, that a little bit of a selfish mindset really comes out on our roads, because we want our car to go first, we want ourselves to get cleared from the traffic first, we don't really care whether we're becoming a nuisance to anyone else. And do we really have, we definitely need to have a larger and a more pertinent conversation about where this mindset comes from, and what is it that parents can really do to inculcate a better sense of social responsibility in children today.
I agree with Ravi Prakash ji and Rajni ji, but I would like to make 3 points. Some time ago, when I was to drive my car and leave my son to the school, 1 kilometer from the school, he said, "Put the music off, daddy, it's noise pollution." And that was instilled in him right very early in childhood in the school, not me. And that is something we need to really instill, imprint the child very early, not after 15, very, very early. That is number one. Number two, in Mumbai-Pune highway, the traffic commissioner whom I met said that his accidents have gone down. Why? Because there are counseling centers on the street. Which means what? Which means if the car is speeding, they stop the car at some point of time, take him to a counseling center, show him all the videos or show her all the videos and educate them at that point of time when he's speeding to really go slow. And that is something very, very beautiful. Number three, which is very important, is in Singapore, these accidents don't happen because the law is tough, law is strict, and it is implemented. It is implemented. They are scared to break the law. The taxi fellow will give you the exact change back. He will hassle you and give the change back. He say, no, please take your change back. In India, where blood samples of drivers can be changed, where an alloyed driver can be brought, that it's not my son, it's somebody else who has driven. But the law is so weak, it doesn't work at all. There is no deterrence at all. Things will go haywire. So what I'm trying to summarize is 3 things. Number one, start early. Imprinting in the brain happens between the ages of 0 to 8 or 10. After 12, 14 doesn't happen. That is number one. Have laws which are very tough, and the person is not able to escape, and see that the law is implemented and seen to be implemented. Number three, which is very important, is have a lot of kiosks on the road. If somebody is speeding, as you said beautifully, as somebody is speeding, stop him. Get him to the center and educate him. You need to do all these 3-4 things if something has to be done. 4, a lot of neo-rich believe that they have not enjoyed their life and they need to give their sons whatever they have. Globalization causes a lot of indiscipline among children because they give choices, and indulgent parenting is also one of the most important reasons. Instead of having empowered parenting, ले लो बेटा अपनी गाड़ी है, चाबी ले लो, दारू पियो, itna jada hai across the country that ultimately when they do this accident, when they involve this accident, fathers are not thinking about who died. Fathers are thinking about how his child can be saved. In Bombay, when a man killed somebody on the road, when a young boy killed somebody on the road, the boy absconded. The father courted arrest. Why did the police not do what they do with other criminals? The boy would have been there in 1 hour, and they lost all the evidence against the boy. The boy surrendered after 3 days. So deterrence, enforcement of tough laws, and educating children much early are very good methods to see to it that we don't kill anybody with a bat or a car or a knife or a gun.
But
I
at the
think they're all
same, yes,
interlinked. They're all interlinked.
yes, at the same time, Dr. Harish Shetty, what would your advice also be to then parents who today claim that they are struggling somewhere to impart values into their children? Because yes, today's child does have access to social media, they have access to phones, they have access to technology, and there's only so much of control that the parents can have.
Absolutely. I would like to say that the child interacts at two places. One is the school and the family. School and family are joint families. They need to join hands and implement the values that Ravi Prakash ji said. If when the school implements a value, the parent goes and fights. हमारे बच्चे को कुछ मत कहो. हमारे बच्चे को हमें पता है क्या करना चाहिए. When the school, I remember, ma'am, when I was small, if I break somebody's glass pen while playing cricket, my mother would say, go down, remove all the pens, and from your pocket money, please pay the man is the cost of the glass. But now, parents say कि क्या चाहिए पैसा दे दो, आप ज़्यादा मेरे बच्चे को कुछ मत कहो. So that sort of a value has to start collectively across the country. It cannot happen very selectively. And let me tell you, the laws, as Rajni ji said, the laws have to be stricter. So everybody, as Ravi Prakash ji said, he knows of 4 people who died in his own extended family. I have so many people who died because their fathers and the cops and the country and the system did not stop them. Nobody believes that if you kill somebody on the road, you'll go to jail. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. A big actor who killed somebody got out because his driver was arrested in Bombay, and he got free on the last day of the hearing.
Yes.
So I think it's a systemic problem, and we need to address it. Deterrence,
Okay.
earlier, strict laws, and why do they not do this in Singapore? That's my question.
Okay, I want to bring in Dr. Ravi Prakash into the conversation. Dr. Ravi Prakash, does it then simply boil down to everyone just not being afraid of the law? Because as Dr. Shetty also pointed out, that today if you are involved in a fatal car accident, somewhere you know that this will not result in any serious punishment and there will be ways and loopholes to get out of this.
That is true. That is undoubtedly that is true. But the main thing is that if I have seen many families, if you go to their families, their children will come and touch your feet. There are still many families like that. How it happens? In fact, we are forgotten how the parenting is to be done. Our culture is to be incorporated in their minds, and this can be done only when their child is very, very small. In fact, we think all these things out of fashion now. When that child grows up and misbehaves with his father or his mother, then we think that, then they realize that something has gone wrong, and they have been busy just making money and all these things. These issues are very, very important, and we are forgetting it. Laws, they don't do all these things. You'll not be able to do all these things. I just gave you the example of my extended family of 4 children died, youngsters. I tell you, before that accident, about 3 months before that accident, the child of 23 years old who died in that accident, his father was in my close relations, and he was. I was going on. In fact, I was to drive on Noida Agra Express Highway. Then he says he advises me also that he drives, his father says, I am driving 150 kilometers per hour on that express highway. And God forbids me, the accident happened in this family only. The child has seen from his childhood his father take pride in this, that if he drives 150 kilometers or he's very busy and he goes very fast and all these things. You believe me, all these things start in the childhood. And of course, Dr. Shetty has said in the schools. I have come to Bombay these days with my son to live. My son, who's 5 years old, he studies in the school. He came back and he said that put off this light. It is a waste of light. The child is understand in this childhood only. But if you don't tell the child in the childhood all these things, and you think that you will be able to control him at the age of 15, it is late now. It is done late. So whatever may be the social media exposure, But you have to create your own value system. Now, mobiles will be available to the children, TVs will be available to the children. They'll be holding it, they will be inquisitive about using them, but you can't stop them. This technology will come, they will have a great exposure of the whole world. The only way to stop this thing is inculcate proper value system in your child, otherwise we are doomed. Of course, the law should be made strict and all these things, but they are all secondary things. First, all these things should not happen at all.
Yes.
Of course, the technology upgradation failure. I was in US. I was going to Niagara Falls, and the car speeding was just 50 kilometers. We had crossed. Immediately, a cop came, and it was night at 12:30. And normally you don't see cops there, but in 12:30 in the night, the cop, I don't know from where he came, and he challenged us, and he gave us a ticket. So the technology advancement and the policing also has to improve. All these things have to be done. So we are developing as a nation. The money is coming in the nation from all quarters. People are becoming rich. But at the same time, you have to inculcate value system. That is the only thing we can save our children. And weeks after that, the pathetic, they render the condition
Absolutely.
of their parents pathetic.
That's a good note for me to wrap up this conversation on. Dr. Shetty, 30 seconds I have to close then, please. Dr. Shetty, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say a lot of parents ask the children to park the car in some ways, either thoda aage karo, thoda piche karo. That has to stop when they're at the age of 11 and 12. 11 and 12, and that is then inside the compound. Aage lo, thoda piche lo, aise karo, waise karo. That has to be stopped. And don't keep your kids on your lap when you are driving at the age of 7 or 8. They believe that they can drive. So these small things early, these softwares have to be inculcated much early. Exposure of these fast drivers to the victims of accidents. Go to the families and see what has happened to the families, and they've died. I'm not talking after the accident. People who drive fast should be exposed to the families who have lost their kids because they've been killed, and that sensitization, that existential change happens. We did that during the riots, where we exposed the rioters to the victims in the camps, and that existential interaction also helps change.
Yes.
Thank you for your indulgence.
Absolutely, and ultimately, it's not just car drivers. There are bike drivers, truck drivers, bus drivers. Everyone is to blame for the same thing. And what Mr. Ravi Prakash said, I'd like to end on that as we become more and more money rich, let's not become value poor in this entire process. I'm going to end our conversation with our panelists on that note. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching. We have to sip into a very quick break.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.